least 2 massive spells to get through us. Alright, Shia is down on the board. Can we draw into something big? Well, that'll help. And this actually, I think, is going to secure victory for us. The double cast, it's going to pump the monk. And we're through with a win. Danced around a... Hello and welcome to the Florida Men Gaming. My name is Furion and today we're going to be playing Magic the Gathering Arena. But before we get started, I would like to ask that you please like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, let us know what you think, what you're thinking, what you'd like to see. And if you're over there on Rumble, go ahead and smash that Rumble button. For today's deck, we're going to be playing a standard event with a deck that I have dubbed Get Your Wife Flowers. Why have I dubbed it that? Because I asked my wife, what would you like me to build a deck around? Just pick a theme, and she said flowers. And with that, I was trapped. So, I decided to take as many cards that either had flowers, kind of felt like flowers, or were flowers themed, and I put them together in what is going to be a fun ride. It has potential, it can perform a little bit here and there. It's not an easy deck, but it is a fun deck. So I have to give credit where it's due. My wife is the master designer of this deck. So, first flowers themed card we're building around is the Grandmaster of Flowers. This is a planeswalker from the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms set. Many of you may not remember him because he didn't see a lot of play, but if he reaches 7 counters, he becomes a 7/7 dragon god creature with flying and indestructible. He has 2+1 abilities. The first one is a target creature without first strike, double strike, or vigilance can't attack or block until the next turn. Great way to shut down very aggressive aggro decks, especially if they have one big threat. Or you can search your library and or graveyard for a card named Monk of the Open Hand, reveal it, and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. So to go along with that, we've added 4 Monks of the Open Hand. Other flowers-themed cards we're dealing with here is the Weaver of Blossoms. This card is a 2 and a green human werewolf where you can tap to add 1 mana of any color, and on the Nightbound side, you can tap to add 2 mana of any color. We're going to use that to play into cards like the Blossom Prancer. This is 3 and 2 green. It's a creature spirit with reach. When the Blossom Prancer enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card or enchantment card from among them, put it into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If you didn't put a card into your hand this way, you gain 4 life. You can decline the trigger. We're running 3 Avabruck Caretakers because she's running that lovely flower leash on her pet. 2 copies of the Wandering Emperor. Why? Because there's cherry blossoms behind her, and she is a good pairing with the Bahamut to really just kind of give us a solid exile and control step for Inscriptions of Abundance. Why? Because the word abundance makes me think of flowers. 4 copies of Azusa's Many Journeys, because that kimono makes me think of flowers. The Era of Enlightenment, because there's flowers on the tapestry. Tamiyo's Safekeeping, because it's green and it makes me think of flowers. And Light the Way, because it is a Japanese-themed card, and what do I think in here, folks? Yes, you guessed it, it makes me think of flowers. So, with that, we're going to have a little bit of fun, see how this deck performs, and again, I'm not expecting it to be the next meta breaker, but I'm expecting it to just be a good time, and we're going to go right here into Game 1 and see how we do. Alright, Game 1, we have our first opponent. And this is a potentially difficult hand, but we're going to take a risky keep, bank on being able to get the Weaver of Blossoms down, and hope we draw into another white source. We did build a relatively diverse mana base. There's the second white source, so we're going to go ahead and get both of those down. And go right into the Weaver of Blossoms. Green-white from the opponent, green-white-red, that is not what we want to see. That's Naya, potentially, which means the Runes deck, and that will be a difficult matchup. We don't have much that can answer it, and it is one of the most powerful decks right now in the meta. I do have a standard Say Please mono white aggro deck that does handle it pretty well. We'll be in a future video playing that deck so that we can showcase it and let you see what we're talking about. Opponent has slow played, and now they're up to the Kami of Transience. Alright, and I misplayed that. I was supposed to put down green mana so I could play the Weaver. Oh well, you don't win them all. Generous Visitor. And a Runeforge champion. So now they've got their board built up. We're going to have to hope they don't have their next clutch card sitting in hand. We're going to have to miss a turn here, basically, playing the Weaver. And this is where it's going to potentially get very ugly. Do they have the Jukai Naturalist? Opponent goes to 5 mana. They could even showdown here. There's the showdown, so this is where it gets ugly. Kami of Transience getting huge. And a few more runes and another spirit. By a few more, I mean one more rune. The opponent elects to bypass the phase. That's interesting. I would have played the rune onto the Kami and just built out a board state that would have been very difficult to overcome. Do I have enough? I have enough. Do they have a hexproof spell? They have Tamiyo Safekeeping. I wish I had paid closer attention to the cards they had in hand, because I thought that was a Generous Visitor. I played right into the nonsense. And I may end up paying for that. But it's good to know, because them burning it there means that when I play the Wandering Emperor in a turn, I will be able to exile the Kami. There's the rune we were waiting for. Oh, this is going to be a big hit. And they still have plenty of mana. Why they're not continuing to smash runes onto that Kami or other creatures while getting the benefit of those +1/+1 counters, I won't know for sure. It's interesting that they put 2 runes of sustenance on the same creature. It'll make it all the sweeter when I exile it here. I would have put one of them potentially on the Runeforge just to diversify and build it out. But then again, it's their choice, and they're going to swing in 10-10. They've got trample, so no use blocking that, as most of that will get through, and I'll just lose the chump blocker for a later creature. Alright, Wandering Emperor to the board, and let us hope that they are not sitting on additional safekeepings. And they are. Well, with that, I'm pretty sure this game is effectively over, but we shall have to see. At the very least, I might be able to get the Grandmaster of Flowers down. Let's see if they just try and swing through for a victory without pumping. If they do that, we get very lucky here. And where did they send the Touch the Spirit Realm? If they take the blocker, we're scooping. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. That trample would kill us either way. Alright, we have our next opponent, facing off against Malborn. I made the mistake of keeping a hand like this once before. I'm gonna make the mistake again, just on the off chance that we can make something happen by getting down the Weaver and then playing into the Monk of the Open Hand. If we draw white, we'll be in better shape than what I'm thinking right now. There's white. That is beautiful. We'll be able to play down the Azusas and drop the next land. Let's see what the opponent's got for us. They led off with red-green. So far, Golgari could be another Naya Runes deck because why not? Everybody's playing them. Alright, just still showing it. And a ramp creature. Well, that's going to make this all the sweeter. You wanted to ramp? That's okay. We're just going to take that option away from you for the moment. And we'll go ahead and play green, get the Weaver down on the next turn. Roaring Earth. Okay. Not entirely sure what their game plan is, but we're going to go ahead and let them do it. I believe we now have a full power inscription for the next turn. Lotus Cobra. That's an interesting enchantment. It's a good little landfall pump. Something I might have to consider for decks that run green for me. Especially decks that I've been thinking about running with counters. Time to find out if they run counter magic. Doesn't look like they run the counter magic at the moment. So we're going to get in with a big swing. Opponent down to 10 health. Thundering Rebuke, they don't like the Seeker. We're going to go ahead and swing in and save the Light the Way as a defensive measure for our creatures here. Blossom Clad Werewolf, now a 5/6. It's going to take at least 2 massive spells to get through us. Alright, Ashaya's down on the board. Can we draw into something big? Well, that'll help. And this actually, I think, is going to secure victory for us. The double cast is going to pump the Monk. And we're through with a win. Danced around a landfall massive counters deck. Alright, we have our next opponent up to bat. 1-1 so far with the deck. That is a good hand set. We're going to go ahead and lead with the Overgrown Farmland. That way we get our tapped land out of the way, can play the lands out in a good sequence here afterwards with the plains, followed by the land coming in untapped. We'll go ahead and hold the Boseiju, and we'll hold the Tamiyos. Opponent now down with the second white. Looks like we're facing off against Life Gain. Played against the Life Gain deck in the play queue, and that provided just a mess of difficulty, but this might be exactly what we need. With the Avabruck Caretaker in hand, Weaver of Blossoms on the board, next turn, or within a turn or two, we might actually be in position to play down the Avabruck. Another Weaver. Alright, And this is where it gets interesting. Do they have another card to play? Or do they try and swing through? If they try and swing, I think we body block with everything. Cosmos Elixir, okay. Now, do they swing? Time to start taking chunks off their health or offering trades. I do have another Boseiju in the deck that I can potentially knock out that Cosmos Elixir with. We just have to hope that we draw it. And in a turn, we'll have Light the Way and Tamiyo Safekeeping. Light the Way will be able to protect the Avabruck. Returning it to hand, Tamiyo Safekeeping will be able to protect pretty much everything else. Okay, the opponent's gonna go ahead and start pumping up that Voice of the Blessed. Interesting that they divided the counters there. Let's see how they elect to block. They're letting it through. Now the whole field is hexproof. They're going to have to double spell, and that's if they want to get us back on the day side and limit the ability of our Hallowhenge Huntmaster. They don't have enough mana for a meat hook. They could be looking at potential board wipe though. Okay. Interesting card choice. Voice of the Blessed is now in the air. Do they swing? It's a pretty simple equation. It would have surprised me if they didn't. Big field here. Do I have enough to penetrate? Do they block and try and kill the Hallowhenge? So far, just a chump. Alright, this is where it gets interesting. We have a big enough pile here to really swing through for some major damage, but the Voice of the Blessed is going to outscale us very quickly if we're not careful. Do they have the answer? We still have the Light the Way to return the Hallowhenge back to hand and enough mana to play it back, so if they board wipe here without the Voice of the Blessed being indestructible, we still have a chance. Silver Quill Command. That is a big Voice of the Blessed. Only 1 mana available for the opponent though. Doesn't make sense for them not to swing at this point. Opponent at 9 health. I don't think we have enough to get all the way through, but we're going to have to take the chance. Alright, this game has entered a very interesting phase. I'm assuming they're going to pump the Cleric class, return Voice of the Blessed, or have something in hand. Valkyrie Harbinger. That is an excellent card. Not enough to stop the incoming onslaught, though. And with that, we have our second win in the books. This deck is performing a lot better than I had anticipated. If that is a lesson to anybody on anything, it is listen to your wives if you're married. And if you're not married, listen to your girlfriend. Chances are they know something you don't. Alright, we have our next opponent. This is a less than optimal starter. We're going to go ahead and take our first major mulligan of the match. This is scary but doable. Let's go ahead and... we have 3 Avabrucks. We're going to go ahead and bin the Avabruck and hope for a Blossom Prancer that might be able to give us a little shuffle. Opponent leading with green. That's a little worrisome, and with an Era of Enlightenment coming up, we'll be able to dig for some land. Green-white, even more worrisome, and the Jukai Naturalist. We are in trouble. Alright, we're going to go ahead and keep the plains. That way we can play out the Wandering Emperor on time. Do they have the Runeforge champion? Go Shintai. Interesting. Are they playing a Shrines build? Alright, we are now in safe range of the Naturalist, but that is an intriguing play, putting down the Shrine. This is a Shrines deck. Go figure. Not what I ever anticipated running into here. They're about to get very wide, and that is scary. Well, the Avabruck is nice to have. It makes me feel better about the one that I binned. The only difficulty is now going to come in from the fact that they are going to be massive. Rune of Might. Okay, so they do run some runes. Do they tap down at all? just the Goshintai. Oh, and we get two of their spirits coming in. One of their spirits coming in. Two of their spirits coming in. They can't make up their mind. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. Come on. Okay. Been there, done that, had a hard time clicking through. If we can draw the Grandmaster Flowers, which is difficult as a one-of, we can start blocking the Goshintai from being able to attack. We're in a little bit of a bad situation. We're not drawing land. The Avabruck is a nice card to have, but it's largely ineffective if we can't get it onto the board. They're going to outscale us dramatically as that Goshintai continues to grow. And all we're going to be able to do is sit here and watch helplessly as it happens. Let's go ahead and take the block. Give ourselves some indestructible just to keep our creature alive and gain a little bit of life back and reduce the blow here. It's going to go down to 15. I'm going to pick 3 life back up here in just a moment. Do they start pumping? Yep, there's the Boundless Vigor. There's a land we were hoping for. And now maybe we get lucky and they get confident enough to attack in with the creatures that are more important for us to start eliminating. If the Boundless Vigor comes in, we're going to knock it out with the Wandering Emperor. And that will dramatically help our situation. I don't think they're going to risk it though. Another Jukai Naturalist to the board. Maybe they do start pumping it and going for the swing. Alright, they are going massive here. I think they're just going to outscale us, unfortunately, and I don't think we have enough turns left in us to make this comeback. I don't have the removal I need to get rid of the Goshintai, and we're just going to continue to watch this board grow out of control, and now they're going to have a massive threat in the Goshintai of Boundless Vigor. And that is why you never lose hope. While it's tempting to play it as a land and put the Avabruck down, we have to take the chance that they don't have hexproof. By knocking out this 6/6 threat, we put ourselves in a much better position, and they have the hexproof. We now have enough bodies on board to be able to go after some of their threats. But they have too many threats for us to effectively take on. Maybe it makes them think twice, though. Okay, well, here they come. there is an attack all button, which I think they forgot existed. They probably also just finally did the math. And we'll let them have the victory. We won't scoop it up on them. They played an interesting deck. It wasn't the standard runes, and I'm not mad at them. We did not get lucky with our Boseiju, and as a result we are now down to a second loss. Alright, we have our next opponent and a keepable hand. Opponent leading with a cleric class could be another life gain deck. We did okay the last time we played it, but that is a difficult path. Alright, let's see if we can time this out correctly. Rune of Sustenance, that is a good card to pair with a life gain deck. Card that's probably got more sunlight as a result of the runes decks. We're going to go ahead and pass priority. See if we can't draw out something a little more spicy. Let's go ahead and exile their Hallowed Priest. Alright. At some point we will get to choose our effect. And I'm assuming they've got a Safekeeping, Snakeskin Veil. That works too. Let's see if we have another land coming up. We do. Actually, the Monk of the Open Handle will be a good pump target. We just need one more turn here and we've got this. Avabruck will come down. That will dramatically change the board state, and that will give us what we want to be able to put ourselves in a good winning position here. Leonin Warleader, that is a card I have not seen in a minute, and I say that having just played the mono-colored starter challenge deck. We're going to go ahead and hold. I misclicked that. I should have given the first strike to the Likeness of the Seeker. Even thought about it, but thought, you know, I should pump the Avabruck. And as a result of that mistake, we are going to be looking at the fact that this is going to go badly for us. Ooh, and they get the pump early. Do they pump up the Hallowed Priest to the moon? They don't. They go for even counters. That is a mistake. As I can, there we go. Not good for them. Let's go ahead and clear the board. They're letting it through. Well, with the Tamiyo Safekeepings, we are going to be in a good position here to protect against potential attacks. Hand of Enlightenment does have first strike, so we'll be able to take out at least one of their life-linking threats. Alright, Trellisaur, Moondancer coming down. That is another scary build-a-threat. And the opponent is going for the Emperor. Alright, Wandering Emperor takes a blow. But with that, we'll be able to knock out the Hallowed Priest, which is good. I don't know if our double cast counts against the day-night cycle, though. I can't remember that. It's on their own turn, so they need to cast another spell in order to flip the day-night cycle. Do they have that next spell in them? They don't. Alright, we are going to outscale them pretty bigly here with counters. They didn't block. That's a weird call. That is lethal. Ladies and gentlemen, life gain can't play. We'll take those wins. Alright, we have our next opponent. This is a scary keep, but a keep. Alright, let's go ahead and get the monk down. Although we'll see. Red lead in, Akum Hellhound, okay. Let's go ahead and see what's coming. We need to get some lands and we need to get them quickly. That was a good play to get that down. We could be playing a landfall deck, which is scary. Oh, and they have the Evolving Wilds, which means this is going to be a big hit. They may be faster than we have the ability to stop them. If we draw the land, Monk goes down, and we play out the next saga. Perfect. Alright, we now have a blocker in play. And a brush file. Do they swing in with the whole shebang? They do. We're going to go ahead and take the brush. Oh, I can't block it. Well, that's unfortunate for us. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some more lands. We've got more lands. Keep the blockers up in case they get another double drop when it comes to the... Oh, there's a Brushfire. Now, what's the land coming down? If it's another Evolving Wilds, that's trouble. That is a big hit. That's a 10 damage hit if we don't block it, so let's go ahead and jump. Take 8. And we'll start getting some bigger bodies on the ground. Evolving Wild ends the game. Another Hellhound. They are flying off the handle with these cards. Alright, here comes the swing. They have to take advantage of them while they can. Do we get another land? Oh, and a Tovolar. We do get another land, but it's a bad land. And they had the land. They had the perfect hand. We had no way to get around it, and a Froghemoth. We're going to go ahead and hit him with the GG and scoop. Ladies and gentlemen, we pulled 3 wins out with a deck I didn't expect to perform at all. Let's go ahead and see the reveal for the pieces that we're going to pick up from it. And we'll go from there. This actually performed better than some other decks that I've had in the past that I've tried to run standard events with. This again was just for fun. Wasn't looking for anything serious here, but just a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, if you're married, listen to your spouse. They might know at times what they're talking about. In my case, I needed to listen to my wife. I needed to get my wife flowers. So let's see what we got. We picked up 400 gold, so we're only down 100 on the day. Kabira Takedown, Skyclave Geopede, and Ingenious Smith. 3 cards, which I believe are rotating out after the next set releases, although I'm not 100% sure on the Adventures in the Forgotten Realm set if that's on the rotation chopping block. So we'll have to wait and see. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. My name again is Furion with the Florida Men Gaming. Signing off until next time.